Benny, you already pooped. I think he wants to go on a ride. I think he wants to go for a drive, Mom. I think we should take him for a drive after a while. What do you think? I like to drive around when nobody's out.
That's the time.
I love that stuff. I like to take pictures of busy parking lots that are ordinarily completely hustle bustle and that are empty. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Heyoka empath. And I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. Some call Heyoka, some we're contrarians. What I like to think is we're the backwards thinkers, which are inadvertently forward thinkers. See, and we live in a society where everybody's just focused on just think this. Look at this. Make it your belief system and create a reality based on supporting just what we want you to see. And that's changing. So, a lot of those little horsey blinds are falling down. And people are like, have all kinds of thoughts and ideologies and stuff like that because they're picking up receiving transmissions, data from the ethers, frequency from the ethers. You know, that's what an idea is. You get a freaking hit by a laser of light and you've got an idea of like, oh, which reminds me, I got to go buy a battery for someone. You know, and things that you can do to add to your own community. And if your community gets better, slowly and surely, those little pockets spread out all over. So I woke up pretty grateful today that I woke up. Not a lot of people woke up today. Talked to a couple people. One called me, I called them back. Talked to a couple people, you know, more than I talked to on Christmas morning last year. Heck, it's always just been another day. It's always been usually a day I've worked, actually. Huh. Benny want to go out on an outing. I think we're going to pack up all the DOGs and drive around maybe and see a thing or two. Huh, Benno? Benny would highly encourage that behavior, Marge. Come here, Benny. Come here. Want to say hi? Want to say hi? Come here. Benny the big boy, Margie. Benny the big boy. Want to say hi to the people, Margie. Big face Benny. Yes, you had a good breakfast. They got the toys. They got the babies. Yesterday, they got a couple of them, huh? We woke up early. About 5:30. It's about 7 degrees out when we went and did our first walkabout. It's so quiet. It's supposed to snow on Monday. We're supposed to get snow. But we got enough stuff. I don't got to go nowhere for a week longer if need be. But I got stuff to take care of, so it's not going to be how it is. I kind of like to do it before the 6th if I could, because 6th is a kind of a crucial day to a lot of people. And the more people put emphasis on something, the more it makes that reality true. That's why more and more people are starting to see UAPs, and we're starting to see a flux of unidentified area phenomenon and stuff like that. Cloud ships, you know, a lot more channels are doing it. And I do what everybody else does. I just do it on a much smaller scale. I saw a video earlier today. It was a trip. Some of these, because I don't like freaking mainstream anything. It makes my third eye twitch. But so, like, the trending stuff, most of the time I'm just like, why do those people have that many viewers? I don't understand. And that's just the depth of where they meet, you know. But this one particular video I watched this morning, Mom, it was really interesting. I almost went to Turkey for Operation Iraqi bullshit. But we got diverted, and instead I went to Crete, the island of Crete, Greece. So I got all that energetic imprint, which is incidentally funny, because the island of Crete is my plus or minus 2 rule that I have for frequentially matched people. That a lot of times people that come across each other, you are like have lived in the same latitudes or longitude. You've lined up in some way geographically the same way. It's like being on a radio station, right? And it's in my plus and minus 2 rule from being where the latitude of San Bernardino where I was born. Yeah. It's just on the other side of the world from that. And that when we're energy, our field, we're drawn to a place, we're going to end up there. I'm still on that latitude. I'm just in New Mexico now. It's like, and also another latitude that has been significant in my life is 40, plus or minus 2 to 40. Because I spent years in Redding, and people that I've identified with are Omaha's plus or minus 2. And that's a hard ley line. Some people call them ley lines. Ley lines are actually separate and different. But, so I misspoke there. But I look at it kind of like only it's different. It's a different frequency kind of thing. So gratitude and attitude, because I was thinking about, because I'll do that. My ego just like, I get this, like I deserve better. Like I deserve something. Like I deserve anything. I start thinking about that, And then when I think, okay, that's because there's no spirit in that. So there's been so many years that I was disappointed in situations because I had an idea of how I wanted that particular day to go. And every time I do that, I sell myself short. I end up getting disappointed. Something happens that ain't real too positive, So I tried to not do that so much. Have any kind of expectation. I know a lot of people have that one day, that one perfect holiday, and then sometimes they get stuck in a loop of trying to recreate that one day. But I've had some really cool days I've talked about them on Christmas. Some of them have sucked, like the time I worked at the movie theater at Arden Fair Mall, across the street from there, on Christmas, and then I walked 12, 13 miles out to Roseville. That's when I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. That's when I was like, I'm going in the Air Force, and I did whatever I could, and I went to the Air Force. That's when it began, was on a Christmas day. Because I was like, I'm tired of not being around people that I care about, I'm around the person I care about the most. Mom, you want to say Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
Oh, I covered up your wave. Sorry. Do it again. She looks, Mom, can I show them what you got for Christmas? It's funny because when I went to get these the other day, she likes these kind. And they started making these kind. And I got her these, like 3 pairs of these, but she doesn't like how they fit. She was born with club feet, and they're real sensitive. And these are like constricting, so I don't like the way that these would fit either. So but she doesn't like them. But these, I guess I could go this way. Excuse me, Mom. That candle smells good. She had these. It's like the story of the slippers. We've lost them and they've come back to us. These slippers. She likes these style. And her feet are so tiny, her foot's only this big, so her feet are so tiny, it's kind of, and they only sell them really around Christmas. And when I went in the other day to find those, I'll put them back in a minute, all they had is like these everywhere. I live in a small town. It's funny. Everybody after the holidays, it was kind of like that in Redding when I grew up, is there's like only so many stores that they could shop at, so by demographic of whose parents shopped at what store, and everybody all had the same outfits and stuff when they get back after holidays and stuff. First, new school years too, but the school's over, so it don't matter. But I found these, and these are like extra cushiony on the bottom, like that memory foam type sensation. And they have little foxes on them, which is funny because I used to go, my home group used to be Foxhole. I call it Foxhole because a lot of people, you know, end up with people that would not ordinarily mix, like in a foxhole. But she got to open these up this morning. She liked it, huh?
Yes.
She doesn't ever tear the paper open. One time I'd like to see, she's Sagittarius. She's got like 5 major placements in Sagittarius. Huh. So tearing shit open and stuff, all that savage stuff. You never found no need for all that, right? Yeah. I don't like. I just like to tear open. That's like because there's a time and place for everything. You know. So I hope people are feeling pretty grateful about stuff today. You know, even if you're just not hanging out with people that make you feel bad, don't ever feel lonely because you're never alone. You're never alone in this life. I've thought that I was alone and that I've felt like I didn't have a family and, you know, that I wasn't significant and a lot of those things that come with just not having a large number of people in your life. That's why it makes it so much more important to go out in your everyday experiences and try and make positive experiences there. People keep doing that in their local community. Their local communities are going to start getting better. Unfortunately, things are going to get worse here pretty quick. They're going to get pretty gnarly. And that's just because so many people think that things are, you know. And when more people focus on one kind of reality, that reality becomes true, you know. I've done it myself. I've thought about like, oh, that would suck if this happened. And holy shit, if that didn't pan out to happen. And then so you start playing the don't think of, it's like a roulette with all these ideas of possibilities of how timelines can change and flip and flop and where people can end up and could you ever speak again and could that relationship heal and or just leave it in the past, you know. It's all like a roulette, and so it's hard not to land on anyone, you know. I've never been much of a gambler. I don't have that, even scratchers and stuff like that, you know. I just, there's other stuff I'd rather spend my money on. And, I don't know, a lot of people get a charge from that energy field, from money. I was thinking about that earlier. And what the weird things that people do. Oh, Keijin, I don't know if Keijin is ever going to see this. But I was thinking about her this morning. I don't know how I ended up with Hanks in one of my recommended. But there's a video, because he grew up close to Redding, where I grew up. Red Bluff is, I think, where his mom and he taught, and his dad, where he grew up, somewhere around there. So I was never impressed by him. I liked his movies, some of his movies. Like I liked Castaway. I love the Polar Express, you know, but he kind of turned into a creep. But when you look into his interviews, like all the way, the old stuff, all the way back from Bosom Buddies and stuff like that, he's always been a creep. You know, so for him to not, and he never acted like he wasn't, really. And they all when people are so egocentric, they just act just out there anyway, because they don't got nothing to tell them you don't act that way. So they just always go, and then you put alcohol and drugs into it, forget about it, no holds barred. They're doing some weird, crazy, freaky deaky shit. Anyway, I listened to his talk. I didn't know that his father had witnessed his father's murder in Willows, which isn't too far from where I grew up, you know. And he talked about how that, you know, how it robbed him, how he could not live a carefree life. And I was like, wow, I can identify that. I never got to live a carefree life. And there's so many people that have got to live a carefree life. Because, like, not even Tom Hanks lived a carefree life because he knew how his dad was and what happened to his dad, knowing of what his dad saw. And I've known so many people. I've had personal there's so many people that have had all these traumatic events happen to them because I've come across them in my life. Because like attracts like, and whether we inadvertently mean to or not, we're going to come across each other's energy fields. Some people just take that vibration and take the lessons that they've learned through these life experiences and get closer to God, to get source. And some people get closer to the Luciferi tale theater. And it's prevalent, Mom. It's a trip. It's like, whenever I think about it, it weirds me out that on the interface that I use to post these videos it's called YouTube, okay? And I post my video, and then they have ads. That's how money is made, is for endorsing, advertising, endorsing what you support, right? And so they have all these commercials, right? From these big companies. And one of these big companies is Match.com. Match.com is a dating service. You can go there, put in your compatibility. They'll find you your same flame, right? Actually, that could have been a storyline that they could have gone down. It's all bullshit, no matter. Well, what they did, their marketing scheme that they created was Satan meeting a girl in 2020 and them falling in love. That is what their marketing scheme is. It's weird. What's her name? What is her name? Oh, I didn't finish talking about that. Gina, she was talking about that, but I started talking about Turkey. But it was Fearless and Far, is the channel that it's called, and you can't really see if I can make it. There's the video inside a ghost town of abandoned Disney castles. Now this place is in Turkey. And it's a real place. He went walking around there. There's 500 of these castles because people have so much money. This is how they fucking piss it away. And I'm sure that there's people in the United States that put a lot of money into this project. And I think he said it started in 2015. And they built 500 of these castles, and they're like, I don't know, they're big. And then they spent $200 million on this project. I think it started in 2015, which isn't that long ago. So, $200 million into building these castles, and then it's like, they're shit. The fabrication is total shit, And then it's like, people are like, who wants to buy a fucking fabricated castle, People, not 500 people around the world, gave a shit. Because what, you're going to have it all shipped from Turkey? Because you think shipping across the United States is expensive. Try getting it's just like, but that's what happens. The world is insane right now because you have these people that just, because they're always told that what they did was good and they're smart. And their ideas and they're not. And then billions of gazillion pissed away on shit like that, And then I start thinking about how much it wouldn't cost for all these little tiny house communities. It's the cognitive dissonance is at a peak right now. Every time people look out into the world, whether they go out into the store, go to the store, I've had positive exchanges mostly. But I live in a small town, too. And that's why I want to live in a small town. It was like when I was a kid, I wanted to live in a big city. And then I went and did the big city stuff and saw the Broadway plays and went to all the concerts and did all of this and did all of that. And all that it really came down to is my place of serenity is at home. And I don't get all that out there. I get traffic and people cutting you off and, crappy roads because they never maintain shit, but the bureaucrats keep paying themselves. It's just See, because people have, for a long time, have thought, wouldn't it be crappy if this happened? So now we're getting a world collectively of all the... Because stop thinking about the crappy stuff that could happen. Stop! Start thinking about good stuff that could happen. Or try and leave it open-ended, which is not easy to do. The best way for me to do, to leave, not think about a present or an outcome of something, is to being in my present moment. That is so... I'm pretty good at it, but I ain't no 100%, that's for sure. You know, because sometimes I don't want to be in my present moment, because sometimes my body hurts so bad that I just don't want to be here in my present moment because things hurt. You know, or someday, or like, I don't want to be in my present moment when freaking one of the dogs want to go out in the, you know, they're on a schedule, but every now and again somebody gets an upset tummy or something like that, they got to go out in the middle of the night. You know? So, what do you do? And then I think about the years where Mom would take me to the ER in the middle of the night. Huh. That sucked. They just make you wait because they can. Because they're, you know. And I learned that later when I worked in the hospital. That's why I'm not all freaking, oh yeah, I'm never going to be for the thing that's mainstream. So like all the, oh, nurses are wonderful. Well, I got a lot. I mean, I like nurses because like, hell, I didn't meet Mom until I was day 3 on this earth. Because they freaking mutilated her. They gave her a partial hysterectomy. They cut her uterus in half and took one of her ovaries. Yeah, because that's what, you know, that's what they do for your own good. And they've been done doing it, you know, and people are like, I've heard stories about how that's happened. I'm like, yeah, it happened to me when I was born. It happened to my mom. I was part of that, you know. I think for some time she associated me with that cognitive dissonance. And so we didn't always get along. It wasn't always kind and loving. A lot of times I had so much vibrational frequency, she would just tune out because she wouldn't know what to do with it. And that's what she learned to do, you know, because of her own story and her own trauma and stuff like that. So I learned how to soothe myself at a very young age because nobody else was going to do it. Nobody else was going to come in the middle, you know, after the boogeyman already got me when I was a baby. Nobody else, you know, if I had recall or anything like that, or was reminded about something like that, or witnessed it to happen to someone else, there ain't nobody else that was going to ever go, you need pats or circles. You know, it's okay, Marge. Nobody else in my life has ever done that for me. Consistently ever. So I learned to do it for myself, you know, and a lot of being okay, especially when you've seen a lot of accounts and instances that have just not been okay, you know, is just being in the present moment. Yeah. And not putting yourself in situations that in that present moment you're in danger. That's what people think. People are looking for trouble. They think that they're freaking gonna live forever. And I'm just like, I see these people that get so cocky and so freaking, you know, inflated about life. I'm like, have you ever taken a punch in the face? Have you ever even taken a punch in the face? Because people don't even realize how fucking bad it hurts. I've had this broken here because a girl came over and smacked me because she wasn't wearing her seatbelt. So this, you know, and that's kind of a punch in the face. It's a harder blow, but people get, you know, people don't realize how fragile the human body is. My brother punched me in the face one time, cracked my nose. It hurts. See stars get knocked out, and people walk around like, you know, looking like acting like they want to have an experience like that. And when they do it, they're like, oh shit. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. But people just walk around I'm a human. You know, and let me do what I can. I'm going to chase this sensation because it makes me feel good. And I'm going to do this because it makes me feel good. and I want to do that and this, and it's just this whole society of chasing sensations. It's gotten gross because people don't have that inner voice to say, you don't do kids, you don't eat people, you don't put pig hooves on babies when they're inside the mother's womb. They don't have that because they don't have those conscience, they don't have that connection, they don't have that high vibrational frequency, so they live in the shadows where they just hang out with people, like-minded people, that never say that you don't do that. And so they live in this reality that so many people on the planet deny because their psyche can't believe that it exists, that stuff happens. And then Hollywood, to cover it up, they do movies on it so those small-minded people could say it doesn't happen. This just happens in the movies. Like it's a defense. And then now everybody, because so many more people in this last year have found their way to their own version of the truth, which supports the reality of things that I've seen. Hell, you listen to Jesse Zaboter interviews, you can still find them on the internet. I can't remember the David Zabulik's, what's it, something darkness, something to light. I can't remember. I'm sure that it's paid content, because you can't ever listen to truth on anywhere where they pay for their weird advertising. So everybody's taking their shit and going home and going offline, and you know, I have a Patreon. I never did nothing with it. It's not how I am. I just do talks about how I feel about things, and if other people feel like me, I don't know. I've helped some people though, Mom. I have. People I get emails every now and again about how I help people. Yeah. Every now and again. Yeah. So I just want people to know it's okay. You know, don't let people define you. And don't let people put the terms and words on you. And don't you change the way you feel inside to modify yourself to act like how they... I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, Mom, when I was a little kid, people... I get in trouble because it was like my face always just... I couldn't hide my expression. I never faked things, right? So I open up presents, you know, and have that... For, you know, I never really asked for stuff I wanted because I never got stuff I wanted. And I remember one year I wanted a sleeping bag. I just wanted a sleeping bag, and I ended up getting a strawberry shortcake sleeping bag. And when I opened it, and I was probably 9 or 10, I was a total tomboy. So I was just like, what's this, you know? I mean, it was something that you use at like slumber parties and stuff like that. I wanted to sleep outside under the trees and the stars in it. I wanted like a Coleman sleeping bag. And I got this like strawberry shortcake thing, and I was like, well, it's for a girl, you know, it's like, this is for babies and stuff. And I was like disappointed, and I got in trouble for not being grateful. But then I was like, they shop for somebody else. I don't know who they were shopping for, but it ain't me, man. It ain't me. And then I think they just started buying me stuff like the toys, because I ended up playing with all the toys that my brother had and stuff like that. So I just get like, I don't know. I like the technologies. I had a speak and spell. A-E-I-O-U. I like to play the hangman game. But then I started picking up that there was only so many words that they had in there. And that I could tell. And that the words had like the same order. And I could I'd start to know the word within like 2 letters. Oh, it's this one. You know? Program things. Everything's a pattern. Everything is a freaking pattern, and I've always just picked up on people's patterns. It's been a trip. I don't want to. It sucks, like when dating and stuff like that, especially when it's like in the beginning, all hot and heavy, you know, and it's just like when people are doing their A game or whatnot, and then they and then they already got you. So then they can, ease up on the romantic stuff, And then one day before you know it, you're like, what happened to all the stuff that we used to do? You know what I mean? But it was all fluff, all right? But I know the patterns of like, I don't know. I can tell what is genuine behavior and what is a game. And it's just, I don't know. People do everything, it's something they want to do until it's not fun anymore. And then you can tell. I guess I can tell when it's not fun anymore. And it happens to both parties, I think that's why a lot of people don't have any, are just opting for isolation instead of hanging out with their friends. Or, because it's just like, how many times can you have the same conversation over and over? I don't know. The world's changing. It always does. It's always constantly evolving. And the people that have tried to keep it one kind of way, because it makes them feel better, they're going to have a really hard time soon. I was looking at these two pictures yesterday. I think they look like two different people, Ma. Let's see what my friends on the YouTubes think. This is little Marge. I remember when this picture was taken. I pulled bread out. It was probably for 3 or 4. That dress was blue. I hated it. And this is grown-up Marge. Boop. I think it looks like two different people. I was 26 in this one. Actually, I guess it would go. Wait. This is backwards. Carl, the camera's backwards. There we go. I'm 46 now, so these are all 20 years apart. Hey, Mom, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Well, 22 for this one. That's funny.
You're very photogenic.
She always says that because I have her face. Huh, Ma? Let's see, where are you at? Yeah. It's Mom's face. I got Mom's hands, too. So I hope other people are having a pretty decent day. Oops. My picture's falling out. Let's see if anyone's in the talkie room, Mom. We should watch a movie or something. Sickmatch.com. There was this explosion in Nashville. I was just talking about Tennessee this morning. I was like, I've never been to Tennessee.
What was exploding?
But there was an explosion. I wonder if it was a gas main. I'll have to look it up.
That's pretty powerful.
Hi, Margot. Merry Christmas. Someone's from Montana. Someone said Kimberly Sizemore said Merry Christmas from South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
And then Tanya said Merry Christmas. Doctors are practiced. They're crazy. They're freaking nuts, dude. I've worked in hospitals. They're overpaid. They got too good of parking spots, too. Thank you for saying so. Margot's in Montana.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's freaking. It was when I got up. This morning. It was 7 degrees here. I looked at Omaha. It was 8 degrees in Omaha. I deleted Salem. I don't look at their weather no more. Past that place.
Because of the people?
Yeah. Well, there's one person I look up in on her. My friend Pam. I like her a lot. But Sacramento is 44 degrees.
Right now?
Yeah. So it's 24 degrees out right now. It's 15 in Omaha. You know what I think? I think I wore this sweater on a Christmas before.
Oh, really? Good
Years
stuff.
before. This is my Kohl's cashmere when I used to shop at Kohl. That was like I'd finish with the Friday night meeting, and if they'd have a coffee or something, after that I'd stop by Kohl's because it'd be on the way home, and then they'd have these. I got this one. I used to have a red one, I think. It's gone, long gone, and then a black one I still got, I think. And they're like $120, and then they're marked down and marked down and marked down, and then I would get them when they would be like $30 a piece, right? Because things always depreciate, you know. I just think that people should create things in already a depreciated price and never inflate it. But people tied to their egos the cost of products and services that they provide, and I'm just like, man, you got a lot of overhead, you know. I can't live in a life where like the total. I mean, I don't want to live in a world where I have to spend so much of my time accommodating things for other people, especially if the other people are things like utility companies where this shit should be fucking free anyway. And I just, I try to keep calm. Because I think about all these bailouts and stuff this whole year. Go downtown to your big cities and stuff like that and see where the bailouts don't go to the people. Savings doesn't get passed on to the people. No, but look at all the buildings where there's huge cranes because they're all getting renovated. And look at all the companies that got new fleets of vehicles. All the city, local governments, they all got bigger, better trucks. They all got, hell, look how many of them get to freaking haul their own toilet on the back of their fucking work truck so they can take their 10 a.m. shit anywhere they like. When people are living in fucking tents all over, having to, and then people are complaining, well, it smells foul and gross and urine and shit, and it's just like, well, why don't they get porta potties? Why don't they get the honey pots and shit like that, Because we have lived in a hierarchical society where some people think that they're better than other fucking people. And all that shit is going away. And people can't even fake who they are anymore, these crazy nut jobs. You don't hurt people intentionally. You don't set out to try and hurt people on purpose. You don't harm people. You don't hold people down. You don't take things from people. There's all these things that people should have been told their whole entire life in some capacity of what you do and do not do. And there's so many people that don't have that. Oh, you don't do that? Because they were never told that you don't do that. And so a lot of people don't, they don't got a connection to God, so they're just going to short out. So if you're an empath like me, it's probably best to just stay off the media altogether. I don't know why I do it to myself, because I want to see. I want to see if what I think is true, and it is every time I open up any kind of Reuters or MSN or any of them, So it's just weird, man. It's weird what the earth is turning into. Everybody has free will. So, what is going on in the world? Somebody said that there was an explosion in Tennessee. I remember when M's Pub, downtown, and where I worked on the Landmark building downtown Omaha, so it was like 11th and the 13th. So I always got the freaking best pictures. Storms would come in. I got badass pictures when I worked there, and from the southeast corner you could see where I didn't see it happen because it happened on a weekend, but you could see the aftermath real good of the one in downtown Omaha. So an intentional act, massive downtown Nashville explosion, an intentional act, police say 2 hours ago. How would they determine that it was intentional already? I guess I would have to look into it more. But it looks like that there was quite a bit of damage done. See, you have people that don't have that little voice and telling them inside that you don't make that explosion, don't take it to that place, and don't let it detonate. They don't got it in them. You know? And a lot of these people are running the country. Oh my God. It's the same mentality. It's the same, it's the withholder. I called it the withholder. The withholder. The withholder, I kind of equate them on the school ground, because everybody is who they are when they're kids. They just either go more into that character or try and or put more effort into covering the true identity of that character. It's an either or. But I was always the chivalrous one. The Captain Save-A-Ho! Don't you be mean to her. You want to fight with a girl? Let's go. You want to hit on a girl? Let's go. Let's go. You want to know what it's like to tussle around with a girl that knows how to fight back? Let's go. And you know what? They never want to go. They never want to go. They always want to go after the weak little tiny one. But they never want to go. That's all right. Now I'm too old. Now everything hurts. Now I just talk shit. So, I can't remember what I was saying. Oh, so people don't have that voice. I hope they find that voice. They can. People can step into God. Their power, connection to source outside of themselves, bigger than themselves. They can do it they have the chance every second, every day to do that. I had to remind myself. I've been like, okay, pray. How long has it been since you prayed? Has it been a couple hours? I don't like going more than a couple hours before I say some kind of little prayer for myself or others, That's what I'm thinking about, It's always best to think about other people. That way I'm not thinking about myself. And then my ego gets all, oh, I wasn't good this year. Santa didn't bring me any presents. And I'm just like, as long as I can remember that the greatest gift is the presence and the time that I get to spend with God in the present moment, I'm okay. Sometimes I forget. Pow! So, anyway, my voice is getting tired. I think I might need some snacks. Too. Some grazing snacks. I just finished my second cup of coffee this morning. I'm probably going to need a nap here, or a rest, a decompress zone, because I've been up since like 5:30 this morning. I pick up on other people, it's the collective energy, And it's just like, ping! So many people having different experiences today. I'm curious about what kind of other experiences people are having. I hope they're positive ones. I'm going to have to look into that Tennessee one, though. I know that the freaking astrology is just nuts. See, that's the thing, is all this stuff says this, and I'm just like, man, shit's gonna get so fucking crazy. And then I talk to people, and then they're like, oh, you know what? I think shit might get crazy because you and other people keep saying how shit's gonna hit the fan, So, and the more people, because people can feel it. It's like when you walk into a room where someone's arguing, where a couple's been arguing, and then they're act like everything's cool. Hell no! You can feel that. I like to bust the tension and be like, so what are you guys fighting about? What do you mean? Well, you can cut it with a knife in here. What's going on? Let's get to the bottom of it so we can clear the tension out of the air and get on with our occasion. You know what I mean? There's a solution to everything if people are willing to find it. people can come to a compromise. We just got this world of it's like, you got to do it this way. And then someone's like, okay, here I did it this way. And the person's like, nope, you didn't do it this way enough. You got to do it the other way and come back and do the hokey pokey. And it's just gotten real weird, this control freak stuff, man. The frequency of the controller. It's like people's psychology is broken down and they got in positions of authority, and then it's just like, well, most of us weren't paying attention because we just looked at a lot of these people in these positions as, you know, trusted service and stuff like that, and they just simply aren't. So, you know, I was complacent too, so I'm not I'm just as guilty as the next guy, you know. I just can live for my local area today, and hope to look forward to the, you know, and I hope people don't have too high of expectations of this year, like things are going to spring back to how. No, it's just you're going to have to get more comfortable and used to things in just a different manner. You know, if you want a comfortable life, you know, because things are going to get real super uncomfortable for a lot of people. People are just going to have to learn how to find comfort in and that's what I'm versed in, man. And I don't care who you are, where you are, what you know. One of the things that you can do to raise your vibe is I always, under any circumstances in the last 4 years that I lived, I just always have lights around. I like lights, like living in a light bright, you know. Something I learned to do for self-care. So it'll be interesting. But I've been a survivalist my whole life. I've been surviving, you know. So I don't know. I guess the other people are going to come into their DNA, their ancestral lineage, you know, as to how they should be living, and how they have been living, and how they should be living, and how their ancestors think that they should be living, and finding a happy balance within all that. Anyway, good luck.